He said it like it was a gift, a ceremony, some kind of honor. "We're thrilled to announce Ryan as the new director of strategy." Ryan, the CEO's son. The guy who forgot what ROI stood for in last week's executive meeting. Who'd asked me to explain market segmentation 3 times in the past month. I was still holding the Q3 report. The one I'd written, the one that saved the company from a disastrous quarter, the one that kept us afloat during the industry downturn, the one he'd put his name on. The CEO smiled proudly at his son, clapped him on the shoulder. The room applauded politely. No one looked at me, no one thanked me. No one acknowledged the 3 years I'd spent working late, covering mistakes, fixing crises. I stood there in the back of the conference room, invisible. Ryan caught my eye briefly, smiled, that entitled, careless smile, like this was always how it was going to end. I smiled back, because in that moment, I decided something important. If they thought this was over, they were wrong. This was just beginning. My name is Natalie Kim, and I just witnessed the biggest mistake of their corporate lives. I started at Holt & Baxter 3 years ago as a junior analyst, fresh out of grad school, eager, hungry to prove myself. I stayed late when everyone else left, picked up projects no one wanted, covered Ryan's mistakes so many times I stopped counting. When he submitted proposals with calculation errors, I fixed them. When he missed client deadlines, I filled in. When he forgot meeting prep, I had backup materials ready. I didn't do it for praise. I did it because I believed in the work, believed in building something meaningful. I thought competence mattered. That result spoke louder than last names. I was wrong. Turns out, the only thing that mattered here was bloodlines. CEO's son equals automatic promotion. Regardless of ability, regardless of who actually did the work. I'd trained Ryan on half our systems, walked him through strategy frameworks, explained basic business concepts he should have learned in his expensive MBA program. And now he was my boss. Director of Strategy, the position I'd been promised, the one I'd earned, gone. They moved me 2 floors down the following Monday. No conversation, no explanation, just a calendar alert at 8 a.m. Workspace transition, effective immediately. A post-it note from HR stuck to my computer monitor. Transition support, see floor 3, desk 12. I packed my things, my coffee mug, framed degree, small plant, took the elevator down 2 floors. Found my new desk, smaller, no window, tucked in a corner near the supply closet. Meanwhile, Ryan moved into my old office, the one next to the window I'd specifically requested last year. The corner office with natural light. I walked by once to grab files I'd left behind, saw him sitting at my desk, feet up, phone in hand, my whiteboard strategy map still visible behind him, the 3-month plan I'd drafted, the client acquisition timeline. All still there, just under new management. Ryan called me into his new office Friday afternoon. He was grinning, that careless, privileged grin I'd come to hate. "Natalie, I still want your insight on things. Your expertise is valuable. Valuable, but not valuable enough to promote. I think you'll be a great support to me as I settle into this role." Support. The word hung in the air like poison. 3 years of strategic planning, client relationships, revenue generation, reduced to support. I nodded slowly. "Of course, happy to help." "Great, I knew I could count on you." He turned back to his laptop, dismissed. I left his office, took the stairs instead of the elevator, went home early for the first time in 3 years. Opened my laptop, created a new folder, named it Exit Plan, started writing. I didn't quit, didn't storm out dramatically. Instead, I started unplugging, slowly, carefully, strategically. Stopped fixing Ryan's numbers before he submitted them, let the errors ride. Stopped volunteering to cover gaps, stopped staying late to perfect presentations, did exactly what my job description required. Nothing more. Watched what happened when the safety net disappeared. Meanwhile, I updated my LinkedIn, quietly, changed my headline, added recent accomplishments, made my profile public, started networking, coffee meetings with former colleagues, industry events I'd always been too busy to attend, built connections outside Holt & Baxter. Every day I stayed was one more domino I got to line up, one more piece of evidence I collected, one more bridge I built toward something better. They thought I was defeated, compliant, settling into my diminished role. They had no idea what I was actually doing. Ryan's first major presentation was a disaster. Quarterly strategy pitch to the board, high stakes. Everyone watching, he used my old template, but filled it with wrong data. charts that didn't match the narrative, projections based on outdated models. He stuttered, sweated, lost his place multiple times. The board was polite, but their faces told the truth. The CEO looked concerned. Board members exchanged glances. After the meeting ended, my phone buzzed. Ryan, what the hell happened with those numbers? I looked at the message, reread it, typed which numbers, then deleted it, didn't reply at all. Let him figure it out himself. For the first time in 3 years, his mistakes were his own. I found a receipt in the printer tray the next week. Corporate credit card statement. Client dinner expense. Except the restaurant was a high-end steakhouse, and the guest names listed weren't clients. They were Ryan's college friends. I knew because one of them had tagged him in an Instagram story that same night. Photo of expensive steaks, bottles of wine. Caption, "Thanks for the hookup, bro, Ryan HB. Company funds, personal entertainment." I screenshot the Instagram story, saved the receipt, matched the dates, filed it in my growing evidence folder. Didn't report it. Not yet. Just documented, waited, collected. I had lunch with Sam from HR. We'd always been friendly, casual work acquaintances. Over salads, I asked casually, "How's the transition going with the new director role?" She laughed, a bitter sound. "You mean Ryan?" "Yeah. Let's just say we've had complaints." "Really?" She leaned forward, lowered her voice. "Between you and me, we've stopped counting. But no one wants to be the first to file something official. You know how it is." "Yeah, I know. Corporate politics, family connections. People are scared." I nodded sympathetically. But inside I was thinking, they won't have to be first, because I was building something bigger, something they couldn't ignore. A recruiter reached out via LinkedIn. "We're working with a fast-growing startup in strategic consulting. Your background is exactly what they need. Any interest in exploring?" I scheduled a call. The opportunity was real. Director of Strategic Growth, equity stake, full autonomy, creative freedom. Everything Holt & Baxter had denied me. They wanted someone to help them scale quickly, build systems, lead strategy, someone exactly like me. The offer was generous. More money, better title, actual respect. It wasn't just a lifeboat, it was a rocket ship. But I didn't accept immediately because I wasn't done at Holt & Baxter yet. I had unfinished business. Ryan made a critical mistake the following week. He sent me a slide deck via email, marked confidential, internal M&A data, acquisition targets, financial projections, sensitive information. I opened the email thread. He'd CC'd his college buddy by mistake. Someone outside the company. That was a breach, a serious one. Violation of confidentiality agreements, potential legal liability. I screenshot the entire email chain, saved the deck, noted the timestamp. Then I forwarded it to myself at my personal Gmail. Created a new folder in my evidence collection, legal violations. Added this to the pile. One of our legacy clients called my cell phone directly. "Natalie, I haven't heard back from Ryan in over a week. We need the updated forecast for our planning meeting." I paused. "He hasn't sent it?" Radio silence. "Can you help? I know you're not officially on our account anymore, but..." I thought for exactly 3 seconds. "I can send you a clean version. Give me an hour." I drafted it from scratch, sent it from my personal Gmail with a professional signature. He replied within minutes. "This is excellent. Thank you. And Natalie, wherever you land after H&B, will follow. You're the one we trust." I screenshot that email too. The Industry Awards Gala was excruciating. Ryan gave a speech accepting an innovation award. For a strategy framework I'd developed, he quoted my research word for word, talked about his approach to market analysis, described his methodology for client acquisition. Every word was mine. He didn't stumble, didn't hesitate, just smiled like it had always belonged to him. I sat at a back table, recorded the entire speech on my phone. The woman next to me, a consultant from another firm, whispered, "Does he even understand what half of that means?" I smiled tightly. "Probably not." She looked at me, really looked at me. "You wrote that, didn't you?" I didn't answer, didn't need to. A small trade publication ran an interesting article 2 weeks later. Holt & Baxter's rapid rise, internal struggles behind the success. No sources named. All anonymous. But every fact matched what I'd been collecting. Leadership nepotism, questionable promotions, employee dissatisfaction, client concerns. I didn't write it, but I knew who had. Because I wasn't the only one documenting everything. They asked me to train the new intern, the final insult. Can you show Zara how to do reporting the Natalie way? She'll be supporting Ryan's team. Sure, I trained her well, showed her every system, every template, every shortcut. On her last day of training, I handed her a sealed envelope. Open this after I leave the company, not before. She looked confused but agreed. Inside, a flash drive. Every file, every template, every strategy document, and detailed instructions on what to do with them when the time came. A former coworker added me to a private Slack channel. Escape Plan was the name. 10 former employees, all had left Holton Baxter under similar circumstances. All had similar stories about Ryan, about the CEO, about the toxic culture. They had receipts, documentation, evidence, they had rage, and they had time. We started comparing notes, building a timeline, connecting dots. What I thought was my individual fight became something bigger, a collective reckoning. Buried in the Q4 financial data was a tiny line item. MISC, Project Consulting, $48,000. No vendor name, no project description, just a vague entry. I dug deeper, found an invoice from a consulting firm I'd never heard of, checked the business registry. The company had been registered 3 months ago. The registered agent? Ryan's college roommate. It was a fake invoice. Embezzlement disguised as consulting fees. I downloaded everything, cross-referenced dates, built a paper trail, added it to the evidence. An internal email got forwarded to me by someone in accounting. Subject: Board concerns regarding performance and fund allocation. They were starting to panic, noticing the declining metrics, the client complaints, the financial irregularities, starting to question Ryan's competence, starting to wonder if they'd made a mistake. They didn't know what I knew yet, but they were about to. I officially accepted the startup's offer, gave my 2 weeks' notice to HR. Professional. Brief. Pursuing new opportunities that better align with my career goals. The same day, the startup announced their pre-seed funding round publicly. Within hours, I got DMs from 2 of Holton Baxter's former clients. You're with them now? Let's set up a call. We talked. They were interested. Very interested. Ryan held a strategy team meeting the following week. Forgot to revoke my access to the shared calendar. My friend in accounting, still at the company, Liv, texted me updates. This is a bloodbath. He can't answer basic questions. Board member just asked him to explain his methodology. He's stumbling hard. Oh my God. He's crying. Actually crying. I sat at my new desk at the startup, read the messages, didn't feel victory, just sadness. Sadness that it had come to this. I sent one email to Holton Baxter's legal department, CC'd compliance, BCC'd myself. Subject: documentation, internal concerns. Attached everything. Every file, every screenshot, every receipt, every forged credit, every confidential leak, organized chronologically, cross-referenced, annotated. No commentary, no accusations, just truth. Raw, undeniable. Hit send. The board reached out 3 days later. We'd like to schedule a conversation, discuss potential opportunities. Translation: we messed up. Please come back. They offered a return. New role, Chief Strategy Officer. Significant raise, more money, more status, more respect. I took the call. Professional, courteous. At the end I said, thank you for the offer, but I'm building something meaningful now, something that values contribution over connection. If you change your mind, I won't. Holton Baxter's biggest client pulled their account, issued a public statement. Due to strategic misalignment and concerns about leadership stability, we're exploring alternative partnerships. Misalignment. That was the polite word. The truth? They'd called me, asked if my new firm could handle their account. I said yes. We signed the contract that same week. Ryan was transitioned out the following month. The PR statement: Ryan is pursuing new opportunities in alignment with his personal goals. The reality? Security walked him out before noon, his access revoked, his office cleared, gone. Just like they'd tried to make me disappear, except this time it was permanent and deserved. My former boss called my cell. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Natalie. His voice was quiet, defeated. Yes, I should have given you that position. I knew it then, I know it now. Silence. I'm sorry. I took a breath. You didn't give it to me. But in a way, you did. What do you mean? Because what I built after you passed me over, it's 10 times more powerful than what I could have built there. He had no response. I hung up. I stand in my new office now. All glass. Open ceiling, natural light everywhere. We just closed our second funding round. $8 million. One of Holt and Baxter's former board members joined our advisory team last week. 3 of their former clients are now ours. On my desk sits a framed photo, the strategy deck Ryan stole, the one he claimed as his own. I had it printed, mounted, added a small plaque beneath it. His biggest mistake. Because that's what it was. They thought they could take my work, take my credit, take my future. They thought I'd accept it quietly, fade away, become another cautionary tale. Instead, I became the warning. The one that shows what happens when you underestimate the quiet ones. When you choose privilege over competence. When you steal credit from the people who actually do the work. I didn't get revenge, I got better. And that's the difference between them and me. They built on nepotism, I built on merit. Guess which one lasts?